Now we're going to complete the income analysis worksheet to compare the performance of Britannia hotels from 2010 to 2013. Now, where will these figures come from? They will come from these other worksheets. This is 2010 income, 2011 income, 2012 income, and 2013 income. So we're going to combine the information from these four worksheets into this summary worksheet. Now, since the figures we need do not come from the same worksheet, we need to use a cell reference. We need to use a sheet reference. So let's say a B5. For B5, we need to show the revenues from 2010. Now, the revenues from 2010 are in this worksheet called 2010_income, and it's in B6. So how can we write this reference? Okay, so you do equal. You type the name of the sheet, which is 2010_income, and then you have to enter the exclamation mark. Okay, the exclamation mark is mandatory. It separates the sheet name from the cell reference, and the cell reference is B6. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're setting the value of B5 to be the same as the value of B6, but in the sheet 2010_income. Okay, so now we're going to press enter. Okay, and now you get the answer, which is 2,756. And if you go here, 2010 income, that is the value that's here. Okay, now we also need to bring in the value of the cost of goods sold, selling, general and administrative expenses, and depreciation and amortization. So let's keep going back here. Okay, so the cost of goods sold, once again, it's here in B7. Now, since this is B6, okay, we can simply copy this formula one row down, and it becomes B7 because it adjusts. So we're done here. Now we need to calculate the gross profit. If you look at this cell, there is a red triangle in the upper right-hand corner of A7, and if you point your mouse to it, you see a tool tip or a balloon tip, and it tells you the formula for gross profit, which is revenues minus cost of goods sold. So following on from that tip, we do equal revenue in B5 minus cost of goods sold. Okay, and there you have the gross profit. Now, selling, general, and administrative expenses, once again, this has to come from this worksheet, and it's coming from cell B8. So I'm going to type that here. Right? And I will just copy this down. It will become B9. Okay. Now, sheet references don't adjust, but cell references will adjust as long as you don't put a $sign in front of the row or column reference. Okay. Now, once again, we have a balloon tip here. Let's see how to calculate other operating expenses. This would be the sum of general and administrative expenses plus depreciation and amortization. So we simply need to add these two. And that's the result. And now let's calculate net income. Net income is gross profit minus the other operating expenses. So equal B7 minus B10. And profit margin, here's the tooltip, net income divided by revenues. So net income divided by, which is a slash, revenues B5. Okay, now the result is shown to you in decimals. We can convert that into percent. If you look up here under the choice of formats, there's a shortcut button here that says percent. Just click that once and it turns into a percent. And right now it's showing 15%, but we would like to increase the accuracy of the result by adding more decimal places. So here you have a button here, increase decimal. Every time you click this button, you get one decimal place. So we just want one decimal place, so we'll just click once. And it's actually 14.6%. So this is how you refer to cells that are not on the same worksheet. You use a sheet reference. Now let's complete the values for 2011, 2012, and 2013. Now, instead of typing the sheet references, I'm just going to use my mouse. So here, for the revenues for 2011, I'm going to say equal. Now, instead of typing 2011 income, which is the name of the sheet, I'm just going to click on this tab here. And if you notice, when I click on the tab, I jump to that sheet, but at the same time, you see that the sheet reference has been entered for me, so I didn't have to do it myself. And then I click on this cell because this is where the revenues are. So now it becomes 2011 income, exclamation point B6. Now, at this point, I can press enter, and I go back to this cell, which is where I was entering that formula, and you'll see that it has been entered. So this is another way for you to enter sheet references in Excel, where you don't have to type the sheet reference or the cell reference. You just use your mouse to click on the sheet tab and click on the cell whose reference you'd like to appear in your formula. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this down because that's just going to be B7. Okay, and then for the selling, general, and administrative expenses, I'll do the same thing, equal. I go to 2011 income. I click on this cell, I press enter, and the formula has been entered for me, and I could just pull this down. Okay, I'll do the same for 2012 income, revenues, pull this down, 2012 income, selling, general, and administrative expenses, pull this down, 2013. Copy and copy. All right. Now, we need to fill in gross profit here, but if you'll remember, we already have the formula here, and we could click on this black square on the lower right-hand corner and just pull it to these three cells. Okay, and you'll see that gross profit has been entered correctly. Same thing with the other operating expenses, B8 plus B9. We can copy this. Okay, for net income, B7 minus B10, we can also just copy this. Okay, and finally, profit margin, B11 divided by B5. We could copy this. All right. And for the totals, again, we could use the plus operator. We could use the sum function. But since we're in Excel, there's a shortcut. Up here, you will see it's under the Home tab. You'll see here there's something called Auto Sum. And if you click on this drop-down arrow next to it, you can do automatic entry of functions, like common functions like sum, average, max, min. So I'm going to click sum. Okay, and it's like magic, but what happened was Excel guessed that the arguments we want for the sum function will be B5 to E5, because those are the values that are right next to this cell, and that's correct. So I just simply press enter. I didn't have to type anything at that point. So I just press enter. Okay, and there's the sum, and I could just simply copy this all the way down here. Okay, except for profit margin, I need to, it's a division, so I need to copy that over. Okay, and everything looks correct. And so we finished filling in all the formulas by using sheet references, and also by copying whenever we can. And the next part of the exercise would be entering something called Sparklines. Now, Sparklines are also charts. They show you trends over a period of time. And in this example, we do have a period of time here, which is a 4-year period of time. So we want to use Sparklines to show the trends in these figures for the past 4 years. And we're going to use Sparklines, which are also charts, but they're really tiny, and they are only constricted or restricted to appear inside a cell. So unlike regular charts, which are actually graphics that float on top of your worksheet, Sparklines are confined to a single cell. And that's what we're going to use in this example. So let's get started. I click on G5 because this is where I want my Sparkline to go. And then I click here, Insert. And This is the area for charts, and next to it there's something called Sparklines, and there's 3 types of Sparklines. I'm going to use column. Okay, now choose the data that you want to appear in your Sparkline. So the data that I want to appear in my Sparkline would be the revenues for 2010 to 2012. So I select it with my mouse, and as you can see, it's been entered automatically for me, B5 colon E5, and the Sparkline will be placed in G5. That's correct. So I click OK, and there's my Sparkline. Right, and I'm going to do the same thing for all the other values down here. So I'll do it one more time. This time I'm going to do it for cost of goods sold. So I click on G7, insert, Sparkline, column type, and then the data would be cost of goods sold for 2010 to 2013. I just used my mouse to click and drag, and now the right range has been entered. I click OK. Okay, so you can see that for both cost of goods sold and for revenues, we have an upward trend. So I leave you to do the rest of these figures on your own. And remember, you're just using chart lines, Sparklines, sorry. Click on the cell where you want the Sparkline to appear. Click Insert, choose the column Sparkline, and provide the range of data that will appear in your Sparkline.